Hello, hello, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. I feel like it has been quite some time since I put out a video. I think it's been almost 2 weeks. I think maybe my excuse there is I've been really busy, or maybe there hasn't been a whole lot to talk about. But definitely there's a lot to talk about now. I had a great time, and in case you don't know, I went to DesignerCon. I went there Thursday, actually. Got there a little bit early, and I left Sunday. Yes, Sunday. Got back home really late. Worked yesterday a 12-hour shift, seeing patients. There's a lot of flu going around, so this is our season where it gets really, really busy. So that was a little bit tiring, but I am here today with one day off, and I wanted to share just my experiences here. This is probably going to be about 1 hour long. I'm hoping to shoot for that kind of time frame because I value your time. I value my time. I want to go over everything, and I have a lot of notes here. I also want to take a little bit of a few questions a little bit later after I get through everything. I feel like there's a lot to talk about. It's a lot of good things, mostly good things, and then there's definitely a little bit of bad out there as well. So I do want to share my screen here. Let me take a look. See here. I haven't done this in quite some time. How do I do that? But I hope you guys are doing okay. I hope the bear market hasn't been too bearish for you all. I hope it's been really good. But we will start from Twitter because I have a lot of my notes there. Okay, good. So this all started, I think I want to start here with the stage, a special announcement. No, Sony didn't sponsor anything with Veve. They merely sponsored the stage there, but it's always fun to speculate. I think people get so serious sometimes. I think speculating is part of the fun. And actually, I mentioned the Veve digital frames because that's kind of something they've talked about that I was thinking maybe they would showcase that. And actually, we see that a little bit earlier. There are kind of some Veve digital frames that they're making that's going to come to us. And that'll be fun to kind of take a look at. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. Here is me. I picked up Chris from the airport because we kind of came in roughly the same time. And he says, some dude trying to shill Omi to me. Chris is a real good character, really, really fun dude. I was really happy to hang out with him. His sense of humor is really spot on. So it was cool to hang out with him throughout the weekend there. And then we met up with Kyle, and we have, Chris, of course, me, Johnny Dunn, and a community member who hosted quite a few of them. That was a really good time to meet all of them. I probably spent the most amount of time with a lot of these guys here. So that was a whole lot of fun. We eventually had, I don't know when that was. It was the same day. So we had dinner later on at House of Blues. So you see the same cast here: Kyle, Johnny Dunn, Chris, myself, Financial News and Views, another community member there. And of course, we have Hello K. So we met up with a group of them. Really a lot of fun there. I think this was later on at was it like a pizza place in downtown Disney? Met up with more people. Or this is the this was the same night actually. I think she posted a little bit later. But another community member, Veve Fan Bam, very sweet lady there. I don't think I met anyone that was like really a D-bag. Actually, I had a really good time there. And this is me. I won't show this, but this was kind of getting a quick sneak peek of the Ecoverse. I make a joke there that it was the Vvverse, but it wasn't here. But and that's Mr. Venkatesh here, CEO of Epico Regal, founder of Epico Regal here. Let me see if I can pause that real quick right when it clicks to him. Yeah. Handsome guy there, stayed with that community member. Really good time. I think the next day we went and just did a bunch of random things here, but you see all of us there. We were hanging out. It was a great time. The next thing is the VIP night on Friday. They were actually showcasing the Vvverse demo a little bit early. And there was a little bit of FUD with this. I saw actually both. There was two demos, one that was in the vault, one that was outside the vault. And some people were a little bit concerned and maybe they weren't really wowed, especially if you saw the inside demo, because the inside demo was really the vault. and the resolution was really, really low just for the sake of performance. They're running it off of a laptop, and it didn't look like a gaming laptop or anything like that. So I kind of understand that. If they did higher resolution, it probably would have been a very laggy experience there. But I thought it was cool that they did that for us. It's really, really exciting. I had a good time. It was cool that it was on the Oculus, honestly. Um, I think sometimes people are very, very critical there, but it was cool. I wasn't concerned, but I wasn't, incredibly overwhelmed. I had pretty low expectations to begin with. And that was kind of a good little demo there. And this is me about to try it on. Very excited, I think, with financial news and views there. So the digital frames, and I heard some conflicting information about this. So I originally put some stuff out there, but I since took it down because I wasn't really sure if that was the case. But what I heard initially about this was that this is the digital frame, and that you can take your NFT, your Veve NFT, and actually, in a way, kind of burn it so it's permanently on this frame. And then I think, you can't use the frame anymore. That's a little bit interesting. I won't say it's bad. Obviously you don't want to buy that and put like a Cryptkin unless that Cryptkin means a lot to you. But and then I heard another conflicting thing was maybe that you can actually reuse it and put a lot of different NFTs on there. So maybe both things are true. Maybe you can burn your Veve NFT, but maybe you can put other stuff on there. I think that kind of makes a little bit more sense. But since this was something I heard like secondhand, third hand, fourth hand, even, I don't want to put anything too official out there because it's all kind of rumor. I'm sure a lot of this is true, but Veve hasn't formally spoken about it. But that's what I heard. But I don't want to make it public. I took an initial tweet down where I talked about that because I wasn't really sure if that was true or not. But I think that's really, really cool. It's something they've talked about before. It makes kind of Veve NFTs more mainstream. Can you imagine kind of inviting some friends over to your house and say, "Oh, what is that? That's an NFT." Eventually, this is going to be very easy to understand. Everyone's going to know what an NFT is. It's your grandpa is going to know what a Veve NFT is. I think someday. So this is really, really cool. Oh, there was a fiche in the Vvverse demo, and I was so excited because when I got to the outside aspect, I was kind of looking around, and it's basically the formal demo we saw that Saturday, but I saw a fiche floating around, and then it became very, very clear we're going to have interoperability. And of course, a lot of us know that already if you've been keeping up with the weekend there. It was really, really exciting to me, So this here was a picture, apparently this is Brock, but the way he was talking and I was talking to other people, this is definitely not Brock, but I think it was hilarious. I think this was somewhat coordinated. So really, really good troll there. I had that was really, really funny, actually. This was the play to earn anime demo. When they just had this playing on Friday and Saturday, I forgot what day, but they just had this playing, and then Taps actually saw it initially, and I saw him looking at it. Then I started looking at it. Then I started recording it. But that's the play to earn game. Now we don't have a whole lot of details. I think they might have talked about it on Sunday. I had flown out by then. I haven't seen very many streams about that, but that actually looks really, really cool. And I heard this could maybe burn a lot of Omi. So we'll see. I don't know. It's interesting. Imagine if there's like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 projects someday, maybe the next 10 years on Veve using the Omi token, burning it. Imagine the burns there. I think it's pretty cool. So kind of moving on, this was the Banksy announcement. A lot of controversy there because might not actually, well, we know it's not really 100%, Banksy licensing his art. It's right, a third party there. So maybe a little bit controversial. I think it's cool regardless. I don't really care if it's not really his stuff. I could care less there. I think it's cool. Then the Vvverse demo here. And then I think this is important here. So the rollouts. Phase 1 rollout, we're going to have the home space. So probably we'll get that next year. with accessories. That's really cool. Actually, I think I vaguely remember them saying we were going to get this soon, maybe this year. So, I mean, they've promised that before. So, the thing is, it's like November, really got a month and some change. So, will they put it out soon? I don't know. We'll see. Then, very quickly after that, 3 months, we got Worlds, VV City, IP branded Worlds. Maybe a land sale around this time. Who knows? I don't know. Avatars, you can customize, gamification. And I know people always FUD this down. They're always like, okay, is this a VV timeline thing? We should expect a little bit of pushback, a little bit of liberty with some of these timelines. But at the same time, when I was talking to people, the VV team members, they were very confident in Mitch, the new product manager, kind of whipping people into shape to get these timelines down. And we've seen kind of Reese talk about this, that there's going to be more things popping up a lot more quickly. We could have a couple things on the developmental timeline done every month as opposed to every 6 to 12 months. So I don't think this reputation of slow timelines will be present as we get into 2023, 2024. I'm very actually optimistic about that. I think we're going to see a lot of things. Maybe not all of the things, but definitely I could see 50 to 80% of the things happening in this timeline. That's my perspective, at least there. And then we have Randy. This was the after party there, the VV official after party. They were singing. I had a great time at this party there. I was singing there as well. I believe I could fly. It was awful. I don't have a singing voice whatsoever, but it was a great time. Hello K was there with me. I don't think he even knew how to sing that song there. So there's that. I had a great time with that. Now I kind of want to move on to a lot of other things, and I'll get to your guys' questions here soon. I'll put this up. C spelled Dan did R. Kelly. LOL. Yeah. Say what you will about R. Kelly. That's not what this is about. It's about the music. That's a classic song, right? Let's go into maybe a little bit more negative thing with the ecomi price. Let's see here. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to look at the ecomi price here. Wow, that is low. That is very, very low. And I'm seeing a lot more FUD kind of even directed at me personally on Twitter. Kind of maybe saying that, maybe I'm part of the reason why this is down so low. They're blaming me for their mistakes. With my YouTube channel, I really just talk about my opinion, and I have been wrong many, many times. And if you're taking financial advice from me, someone who I say is not a financial advisor in any way, I'm just a person. I'm not even in the finance space professionally. I'm in healthcare. Probably shouldn't take advice from me. I'm just really saying what I'm feeling and believe in, even if I'm completely wrong. But the price is really, really low, 0.000735. That is a level that a lot of people thought, we couldn't see. I never really said that because I just, at this point, I don't even know where the price is going. I couldn't really tell you. I did say a long time ago from a technical analysis perspective that if we broke 0.0011, there's not a lot of price structure there. So we're in price discovery mode. We're trying to find a good support. And the problem is even traders who I talk to can't find good data on that past levels of support, because on TradingView, BitForex really isn't on there. That's really where all the trading was going on. To my understanding, it's hard to find a good price support there. So would it surprise me if it went to 5.0, 4.0? No, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Am I buying at these prices? Yes, I am, especially since I know what I can expect from the X factor, something I've talked about, the Vvverse being an X factor, something that can cause us to blow up in valuation because of how bullish the Vvverse is. We know what it looks like. It doesn't look like Kevin. It doesn't look like a piece of crap. It looks like something that I think they can reasonably put out. Therefore, I am more bullish. that's why I've kind of I've talked about this before. I've talked about pausing my buying a little bit. My goal was 20 million. I was pausing at 18 million. Oh me, I have 19 million now. I have some money loaded up that I'm going to buy at these prices because now I know what to expect. And actually, I don't know what my official public new goal is for OMI, but I've told people even last year that my reach goal is 50 million. It's going to be kind of a reach for me personally to get there. It's less so now, but how much is 10 million OMI? $7,300, right? At these prices. Um, I have that kind of money that I can throw in there. I could feasibly get 50 million OMI. I might have to not tell my wife I am using funds to do that. She might get a little mad at me if I did, but I can potentially get that. So I might extend out my goal to 50 million OMI. And that would mean, really, if it hits a couple of cents, that's $1 million if it goes back to those price points. And I know people think that this is kind of a big rug, like OMI is the only one doing this kind of thing, but it's clearly everything. And when I made those price predictions, when all those people made those incredibly bullish and incorrect price predictions, myself included last year, they were under the impression that, society as a whole would be relatively stable. A lot of times when people make price predictions, it's under the assumption, the presumption actually, that the current trend of financial stability is going to be the same. But we had things like, Ukraine, we had things like FTX, we had things like inflation. We still don't even know what's going to happen, really. I mean, we've had some optimistic news in the markets, but this FTX thing is still going on. And we could have even more black swan events in 2023, 2024. These things could happen. So it could go a lot lower. So you have to be prepared for it. But I do believe someday we're going to go back to those levels where we were in 2021, 0.0080. Someday it's going to break 1 cent. And someday we will all see this and we will live this out. So, another thing too is I remember when I got out of Bitcoin, for those who don't know, I bought Bitcoin in 2013 and a lot of it actually. And, I eventually got out of it and I was in Ethereum in 2019. So I have a little bit of experience in crypto, and I remember when I got out of Bitcoin, I was like, it's never going to hit 19,000. And it went as low that I can recall. Bitcoin was 3 grand. And I was like, see, it's going to go to the pooper because I'm glad I got out. But then crazy things happened and it blew past that. And now people are saying it might never go down to that level again. So this is kind of where we're at. We're getting to a point where people almost a lot of us are going to say, man, I'm glad I got out of OMI. I'm glad I've got out of whatever. It's never going to go back up. It's starting to get to the point where I think we're going to get max. It's hard to pronounce this sometimes. Capitulation. Yes, we're going to see that soon. I don't know when, but it's getting pretty bad. So I'm excited because I have stability with my family. Luckily, I'm in this kind of position where, we have good jobs in healthcare. They're solid. We're pretty frugal anyways. We're not overextended with debt. So I feel like I can take a chance and buy OMI at these prices because what I learned in 2021 is my first buys were at 6.6, pretty high, 0.0066. But I was able to get that down because I continued to dollar cost average into this token. I actually want to see how much I'm down because I think I did some calculations earlier that I put in like almost 60, 70 grand last year in crypto. It's a lot of money. I told you guys before I sold some properties to do this. I had a lot of extra cash kind of laying aside to do this. Let's see how much I'm down on the OMI side of things. Um, 1 second. Wow. So I think I'm down about 80%. So wow, wowzers. Let's talk about technical analysis a little bit. I do want to talk about the OKX situation. I almost made a video about it and pulled it because I felt like I didn't really explain myself that well. I don't want people to speculate incredibly wildly, like people have a tendency to do. I want to be a little bit more responsible in what I talk about sometimes. But okay, this is what I want to share. This is OKX, and I don't know if you guys can see this that well, but you don't need to see anything too particular. But what you can see here is volume, right? The volume here is, in the 200 millions, kind of stable. And then we had a situation with a big price dump. This is what caused us to go to triple zeros, actually. We're trending at 200 million of volume, but we had this really huge outlier event. And it's really important to look at outliers in the financial markets, but also everything in general. You can learn a lot from outliers, healthcare included. I became a tea person when I visited London. I love this tea. I got this from London, almost out of it. But look at this volume, 2.43 billion, when previous volume was, 280 million. And then the very next day, I believe that is, yes, the very next day we had buy volume of 1.51 billion. So we had either an individual or a group of people, we don't really know anything, dumped it on a low volume exchange. And then we had a lot of buys that were really, really high. So either, to me, what I can gather from this is that most likely the same group of people bought it up. This highlights a problem with OMI, is that the token is in the hands of very few people. And this is not the team, because if you look at David and Dan's wallet on like GoChain, I mean, that hasn't moved. That's like 60 billion tokens. These are probably one of 30 people that have enough tokens to do something like this. So this is the biggest risk in crypto. So when people are like, oh, this is a crap token, this is not going anywhere, it's really because of the actions of a handful of people consistently. And this is very clear that this is why we're in the place we're in. People like me are buying this up. People who are bullish, I met a lot of people at VVCon who are OMI people that have a lot of money too. A lot of these people are buying. And this is called dilution, right? These big old wallets are being diluted over the course of time. But in the short term, couple years, crazy things in price can happen. Maybe they're buying and or selling to rebuy at lower, get more. Or maybe there's some people I know that last year they were just selling. And that's why we saw this kind of price going downhill, because they were selling off, getting out of the project. This provides an opportunity for the little fish like me, like us, to buy at these low prices that we couldn't get, because someday, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, who knows, these prices are not going to be where they're at right now. So do I think this is the founders? No, I don't think so at all. I am very certain it's either one or a group of people. Really, that pool of people who could potentially do this is very small, 30 people. So I think it's someone who maybe got sick of OMI and is wanting to get out, or maybe trying to buy more. Who knows, right? But the important thing here, it's not the team members at all. So that's a lot there. The thing is about collectibles as well, is collectibles are also really, really low. I like to look at Todd as a good representation of the markets as a whole. Collectibles are not spared from this absolute value destruction. Todd used to be, 14,600 or something. I don't know. And now it's at 1,000. And it could possibly go even lower. That's really the case there. It could go a lot lower than that. But the thing is, I do think NFTs and collectibles in general are functioning in a way that's very to how crypto was in the really, really early days. In a lot of ways, I don't understand NFTs as much as I do crypto, because I have years of understanding for crypto and I only invest in things I understand. Am I stupid? Maybe I am. But until I understand the collectible market and NFTs more, I am really not going to throw a lot of money in there. I think someday a lot of the digital collectibles, and when I say a lot, really I mean 1% of them are going to do really, really, really well. They're going to be like the Bitcoin of the cryptocurrency markets. They're going to do really, really well, but I just don't know what those are. What a grail today might not be a grail tomorrow. So those are things you need. So I don't really consider it investing because I don't understand it. I think of it as speculation, and speculation is has less certainty associated with it. It's like people who bought toilet paper at Costco a few years ago to try to resell it because that's speculation. I don't consider that investing. Whereas for Omi, I consider it investing, and that's really just a matter of perspective. Other people might have a very good understanding of collectibles. Dr. Profit or the Todd Father. They understand collectibles a lot better than me. Maybe they look at it as investing, and Omi is speculation. So it's really a matter of perspective. But that's why I don't really talk about the collectibles too much, because I don't feel like I can add too much, and I'm really not. I don't have a very solid understanding in that. Last thing I want to share. We're at the 26-minute mark. I want to share my special project here. My fiche. I saw a fiche in the Vvverse, and my fiche is named Paper Hand Dan. And honestly, I've been a little bit neglectful because I haven't seen my fiche in quite some time. But luckily, it's alive. I haven't seen this in some time. But I really like my fiche tank. I think it's a great party thing. I don't want to click this and have music playing, but it'd be great to have a party and have this on your TV and it playing some music. I think it'd be really, really fun. I don't do parties because I'm old as crap, 37 years old, but I could if I wanted to. So that's it for that. I think we've talked about a lot of things. I want to take some questions and want to try to end at the 1 hour mark. I did talk to Pudding Cheeks, and Pudding Cheeks is a really cool dude, man. Man, he has a heart of gold. Me and Financial News and Views, we talked with him for a while. We kind of monopolized his time, and I'm glad he wanted to talk to us. Really cool dude. I hope to meet him again at one of these other conventions. I've talked to so many really excellent people. And, sometimes people are a little bit negative on social media. And I'm not talking about Pudding Cheeks specifically. He is very, very nice to me on Twitter and stuff. But there's a lot of people that maybe sometimes come off as a little sarcastic, and maybe it's a little offensive sometimes. But when you meet them in person, like, they're really cool people. So I think sometimes we can have a perverted view of society based off what they say to us on social media. But when you meet them, you just realize they have feelings like you and me. They get angry about certain things. They blame people sometimes. Maybe that's valid. Maybe sometimes that's not. But all in all, I think the Veve fam is a solid group of people. And this is another X factor, this community. I think I'm privileged to actually get in so early to be able to see the team in person without security, without crazy groupies going after them, with having an opportunity to actually spend a lot of time with them. It's a great opportunity, because if this thing takes off like I do believe it will, we may never have an opportunity to shake their hands. They might have some crazy person, and then they have security flocking them 5-6 years from now. But until then, we have a great opportunity to meet them. So I'm definitely going to go again. I want to maybe hopefully room with Financial News and Views again. Maybe some of those other members like Kyle and Chris Coffey. Hopefully I'll have another opportunity. So let's take some questions. Excuse me. Are you currently accumulating Bitcoin or Omi? I've thought about Bitcoin, and I like Bitcoin a lot. I have some still, but in a market like this, you want to preserve capital. So even Bitcoin is incredibly risky. So I am just doing my investments, solidify my operational fund with my real estate, and buying Omi. That's what I'm doing. Like I said earlier, I want to maybe try to I'm not going to say if this is my public goal. I don't know what I can really do realistically, but 50 million might be my new goal for OMI. I might do another video and talk about that later, but that's what I'm accumulating. I'm accumulating OMI, and I'm putting money in my 401k, and I'm stacking cash, because if this recession turns into something where people start losing a lot of jobs, that's when people want to, I lived through 2008, 2009, and I remember people losing their houses, you know, and you don't want that to happen. And the only way you can do that is make sure you stack a lot of cash. So I firstly want to preserve the comfort and safety of my own family before I invest in other more risky things. So that's what I'm doing. 401k, OMI, cash, real estate. What do you do for work? I am a nurse practitioner. I am a nurse that has additional training that can prescribe medications. People see me for broken bones, if they need stitches, if they got a cold, if they got pneumonia. I can do a few emergent things too. I'm not an emergency room person. I work in an urgent care, but sometimes people have maybe they have a heart attack or something, and they roll through. I have to know what to do to stabilize them until that we can get them to the higher level of care. It's really rewarding. It's been hard during this illness, the few years of the illness, because there's been a lot of stress with people, and maybe people feel like healthcare people have been deceiving them. It's been a hard job, but I think people are turning it around now. I think some of the craziness is over, so I'm very happy about that. I enjoyed meeting you as well, sir. Thank you very much. People frames, I love those things. Very good. Dan, I'm really concerned about the old founders saying that the SEC will go after ecomi and their team because they are not fully compliant with the majority of their token share. I don't really know about that. If you want to hit me up on Twitter, I can maybe talk about that if there's actual some evidence about that. But, we know that this OUP is very compliant. And I'm not a lawyer, okay? Sometimes there's a lot of Twitter lawyers. It's like if we're talking about anything of significance, all of a sudden everyone becomes an SEC Twitter lawyer. So, but what I can say, it doesn't seem to be like a security. And I do want to take this opportunity to talk about a theory I have about the business development fund. We know that Reese has talked about maybe they don't need to use the business development fund anymore. Maybe they'll get rid of it. Who knows? And one reason I thought about that a little bit is I was like, why would they do that? Why would they get rid of a business development fund that's worth a certain amount of tokens? One theory I have is they could get rid of it because it has the appearance of a security. Everything that has a parallel to an actual security, to a stock, for example, ownership rights, selling it to raise money, you want to avoid that kind of comparison. So if you have a business development fund where you sell it to raise money, that could be viewed as a security. So my theory is that they could get rid of that business development fund, because honestly, they've made so much money with Veve, then they will likely make more money in the future. They can always raise capital through the conventional means, through equity raising, money raising. So I have a theory that they're going to get rid of that, further reducing the circulating supply. Furthermore, this is more of an opinion, but I also don't think that, and I don't know if this is the truth, but I don't believe actually that David and Dan will ever sell off a token, because if they do, people will freak out because they own 20% of the circulating supply. But I think eventually that will either go away, or they might use it to to refill the reserve if they have to. That's my theory. So if you add that up, 60 million plus the 30, 40, some odd, I don't know the exact number, 30, 40 on the business development fund, that could potentially be 100 billion OMI that either never gets used or maybe is even burnt completely. That would decrease the circulating supply to about 200 billion. Still quite a lot of tokens. But going forward, they could do that. And then when you add in all the burn mechanisms in the future, that can continue to get whittled away. So that's my theory. What do you guys think? Leave me some comments, and I'll try to get to that. Can you personalize them for different prices? I really don't know a whole lot. They didn't talk about that formally when I was there. This is just third, fourth hand stuff I heard. No one in the community is talking about it, but people should know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you're talking about too. Are you talking about our favorite fudding character in the community, or are you talking about someone else? Hit me up, leave me a comment down below. Buyer exhaustion, yes. Even I am psychologically getting a little bit tired too. I'm a little cautious about buying at these prices. So yeah, we're getting there. Yes, like I talked about, I think it's manipulation a little bit, not by team members, but by people who hold a lot of OMI, some of those older people who got in early on. I am pretty sure it can go on Ledger Nano. Foster Hill has done a good video about it. Kyle as well. So I believe it can, but I personally haven't done it. So full disclosure there. They hold 40% of the total token supply. Same reason. Yeah. And then I think this might be why we might never see those tokens again. I might have to do a video about that because I think it's actually a good topic now that you're talking about it. I might do a video about that. But every time I do a video about that, I get too many fudders and it just gets really, really annoying to talk about it, talk about the same issues over and over and over again. So we'll see. I mean, I did do a video similar and I did talk about it here as well. But, we'll see. I need to follow you on Twitter, man. But hit me up. We can maybe talk about this a little bit more, offline. Omi Millionaire Tees. Hey fam. Does some great shirts, dude. How's it going, man? Justin said I slayed on karaoke. Oh my god. I still have to show it to my wife. I forgot what I was going to do. I was going to show you some karaoke clips. I'll do that a little bit later. Hey man, what's your current average price? I don't actually know. I think it's like 20 something, but that's a guess. I don't really know 100%. 4 cents. What are you talking about? 004? I don't know. Oh, okay, he corrected it. Okay, I was about to say, you did a bad deal, bro. You bad deal. 3x potential. I think I know who this is. I think I talk with him in a group. I said that I believe we can have 2 to 3x potential on after we get OUP, and it did pump and then it dumped. So it did pump a little bit, but it subsequently dumped. I have to remember you. Maybe I need to like block you or something. About to take on a second job just for OMI and return bottles weekly. I am too tired. I couldn't even imagine having a second job. I don't want to do my primary job as a second job. That is just too tiring for me. Wow, I have a feeling telling everyone OMI token will drop to 0001 since Feb 2022. There's a guarantee that OMI price will even reach. There isn't a guarantee. 88 again. Don't be smart. Don't be a moon boy. You should always make your own financial decisions there. So take that into consideration. Down 80%. Yes, I am, sir. Randy had over 120 million tokens. Must lost over 330K. That's the way crypto works. I don't know if you've been in long enough, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, man. Mr. Anomalous, I remember seeing you quite a bit, man. How are you? Yeah, I don't even check my VV anymore. I see how it goes next bull market. Makes me sad. Even for me, man, when I had my ton, 14,000. I should, and there's people who they put in 2,000, they had vaults worth 100,000, 200,000. We should have known in hindsight that, hey, I only put $2,000. It's 200,000 now, 100,000 now, 80,000 now. Maybe I should sell because that's a lot of money. But, we get greedy and, most people just hold on to it because they're greedy. How is OMI security? It doesn't do anything because they use it to raise money back in the ICO days. That's why it's always a risk. What can you do now? The only thing you can do now is don't do anything that can be construed as a security. I think what the SEC is doing, you got to look at the SEC. They're not omnipotent. They are going after easy prey. And in my opinion, they go after easy prey, win those cases, send a message to the community that they're not going to tolerate that. Then everyone gets into compliance. And if they don't, the SEC will go after them. So that's the only thing, OMI can do. That's the only thing the team can do is be compliant going forward. So yeah, I don't think it's really a big of a risk as people make it out to be. You can't do risky things nowadays, but the SEC also is a little bit in kind of a weird position because they didn't go after these people in the past. So that's why, with the XRP thing, there's a lot of there's a lot of problems with that case. And that's why that's a big case we need to win. We need to declaw the SEC a little bit. They have a good mission, right? They want to, in a sense, make it harder to raise money because there's so many rug pulls right now. There's so many low value tokens. Really, a lot of that is garbage. I don't think OMI is garbage, but I would say 99% of tokens out there, maybe even 99.5% of tokens out there are complete crap. Paper Hand Dan, you got the last laugh on that one for sure, mate. Camry looking fire at Decon. Yeah. Anyways, let me kind of quickly go through any questions here. The next few months will be the greatest OMI buying opportunity if you think it'll be around or a leader in 10 years. Yeah, you got to follow your own personal thesis, man. If your thesis is that OMI is going to moon, that these prices are really, really low. But if you think OMI is going to go to zero, then I don't know. You need to just get out. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean, I have projects I have bought that are almost going to go to zero. There was this Victoria VR token that I bought. I spent $1,000. I was like, oh, I got $1,000. I don't mind gambling a little bit. It's pretty much almost zero. It's like $12. I mean, I don't even care about it anymore. I don't even research it anymore because it's going to zero. I'm not in that community because I got rugged. It's fine. Move on. That's the way this game works. You called it by selling at 0.006. Good move. So where do you think the bottom is now with bad news all over the crypto and exchanges scene? Cheers, Dan. I will say with a lot of confidence that I don't know where the bottom is. I have stopped being very public about this because I said before that once it breaks 0.0011, it's going to be in price discovery mode. In the same way, if it breaks, the 1.23 or 1.3 cents or whatever it is, it's in price discovery mode. So on the flip side, it can moon like crazy. We can hit 2 or 3 cents 2 or 3 months after it breaks. It's possible. But on the other flip side, it breaks 1.1, it can go low. And I think the absolute bottom, if you look at, let me stop this screen here. Let's find a new screen to look at. I mean, this is not really technical analysis, but it's where all the data is here. But if you look at really this level here, oh, that wasn't the level. 2.3. No, that's not it. Anyway, sorry. I don't really have that data pulled up, but I believe that 0.00025 is one of those dangerous levels. I don't know if it's going to go there. It really depends on what that one dude is doing. That's what I'm saying. It's not about a group of people buying or selling. It's about what 1 or 2 people decide to do. What's going through their minds? Are they going to try to buy more? Are they going to try to manipulate it? Are they trying to get out? I don't know what that 1 or 2 people are going to do. But what I will say from a TA perspective, and I'm not an expert, actually, I'm a learner. I'm a learner. I'm a student. I don't need advanced TA because I don't do a lot of trading. But what I do need is I want to know if when I buy it, it's going to stay at that consistent level or it's going to go lower. Because if it's going to go lower, then maybe I'll wait and buy a little bit later. Or if it's going to go higher, maybe I'll wait now so I can be in profit. Those are kind of the moves I make, and that's the kind of the TA I need. But I think that 0.2225 is a really good foundational level where if we break that, it's going to be scary. So I hope it doesn't go there. I mean, on one hand, I do hope it goes there, but on the other hand, I don't hope it goes there because it's scary, but it's also good buying opportunity. Sorry, I'm going to check these texts. I think my wife sent something maybe. Okay. Sorry about that. Personal stuff. That's the kind of the scary thing. So I don't know where it's going to go. There's so many things to think about. Even London. My heart reaches out to all those people in London. It was a great city. People were really nice to me. I remember when I got off the tube, I didn't realize that there's no elevator. There's just stairs on some of the older tubes in London. I mean, immediately people offered to help me carry my luggage there, and I got a baby there. Very sweet people, and my heart goes out to them with what they're going to be going through this winter. I don't know what's going to happen. Ukraine situation, the Russians have no military, excuse me, they have minimal military capability, military power, that they don't even target military targets anymore. They target civilian targets because they're just causing pain. And Ukraine is going to have not a lot of power going over this winter, this cold winter. So there's a lot of things going on. It can go lower. I know people out there I talk to believe it could go lower. They're waiting. I don't know where it can go, so I can only dollar cost average. I am being very careful, though, with my buys, and I think you guys should too. Are you a physician's assistant? No, I'm a nurse practitioner. So in the States, I don't know where you are. My wife is a physician assistant. So both those jobs, we are very, very similar. We can both do very, very similar things. My wife actually works for my company now part-time. When I say my company, I mean the company I work for. And it's great because she gets to pick her hours. She has a lot of flexibility and she makes really, really good money still. So, it's fun. Is it feed, a cold starve, a fever, or I don't understand, Rip. You're too sciencey for me. NFT frames with Veve NFTs mean what to you? It just means a way to go more mainstream. I mean, eventually, real life NFTs are going to be in people's houses in the future. Maybe not now, but maybe definitely more popular a couple years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. It just is part of the mainstream movement towards the mainstream. If the Dans sell, there will be pitchforks. Metal Lemon, how's it going, my friends? How are you doing? I was on his channel a while back. Definitely check him out. Thank you for the $2 donation there, $2 Canadian. How much is that? Is that $1 US? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, my friend. I like going to Canada. My best friend is in Toronto, and I would love to visit him, and I would love to go to a event over there. There's a lot of Canadians out there. Foster, Mark Wen. We'll love to see those people. Okay, I'm going to ban this comment. Block user. Goodbye. Omi is just a golden buy right now. Stack up, boys and girls. That's kind of how I feel. Is there anything about comics with the Vvverse reveal? I think this was public, but they're gonna. The only thing they said was comics in the showrooms. That's all they really said there. How much is Dr. Profit down with collectibles? Probably a lot, but I wouldn't worry too much about Dr. Profit. I'm sure he has plenty of money, and I'm sure that is a very small portion of his portfolio. So I would maybe worry more about, our own investments and not really what other people are doing or not doing. Dollar cost Omi every week. I really should have dollar cost Omi. My big regret is when I sold my property, I just dumped it into the token because I was like, I got to get in now before it goes to 5 cents. How wrong was I? I should have kind of layered in slowly. But you live and you learn. I'm putting in $50 a day, baby. Hey, that's a great way to DCA, man. How did you guys feel about the Vvverse looking cool? Needs more work. Plus, gamification is really needed since logging on to walk around looking at volts will be a fast gimmick that dies down here. Okay, I don't know if you guys saw this. I'm not sure if there's even videos on it. And I really wish in some way I filmed it a little bit, but I'll try to describe it as best I can. So you guys saw the demo where you go to Dan's house. Sorry, I got a runny nose all of a sudden. I don't have a tissue. Give me a tissue, guys, please. Send it to me. Anyways, so you go to the house and there's a lot of cool things you can do. There was like a Zoom type stuff on the right hand side where you can see people's profile pictures, and then you can even see people like looking at you, you know, like streaming through a camera, and you have all your friends there on the right hand side while you're doing stuff, or can be in there as avatars. You can pull up something to draw. So one of the things was like a um, you know, like playing tic-tac-toe, or you can draw pictures, or you can draw, you know, phallic type objects on there. If, you know, I know a lot of you guys are into that there, especially the fudders really love drawing the phalluses, you know, really into that. So that's kind of cool. There's a lot of little features there that maybe you didn't see, or maybe isn't publicly out on Twitter. I didn't film the whole thing because I don't want to film like 20 minutes and have to edit that on my phone. But that was another kind of cool feature you can do. Sound. You know, there's a little fireplace there, and as you get closer to the fireplace, you can hear sound. And I think it's like best way to describe it is maybe a surround sound thing. So if it's kind of to your right, you hear it in this part of your ear, and then as you move away, you hear it maybe here on the left part of the ear. So there's a lot of little cool things I think you can do. You can fly around if you want to. It reminds me in a lot of ways as like what we wish Decentraland was. Like Decentraland is complete crap. And the reason I say that is you go there and no one is there because there's nothing fun to do. And the Vvverse will not be like that because there's a lot of potentially fun things to do, even if initially we're just looking at each other's vaults. I mean, there's already going to be a lot of built-in things that we can do. And we know you can build games. So you know, smart people are going to be building things. I mean, it's like everything we want in Minecraft. I feel you can build things, you can build games, maybe you can monetize that with like spatial, with like Decentraland, because you can kind of sell items you make there. You know, these are things that we will be able to do. And maybe there isn't a full video of the demo. And sometimes I wish Veve did do that. Like I wish they used their YouTube channel a little bit strategically, but they got a lot going on. You know, they're trying to be real lean so they can don't have to spend money, so they don't have to raise money, so they don't have to sell tokens, etc. So, you know, even VR chat. Have you ever been on VR chat? I get a little nauseous, but I went in there because I got a Quest 2 for Christmas last year. I put that little bad boy on there, and it's fun. I mean, there's a lot of like kids there, and to me, it's a little weird to be like a 37-year-old man in VR chat, you know, with like 9-year-old children. So it's kind of weird. So I don't really do that, but it's fun. And sometimes I wish the VVVAM could get on there and we can just do some VR chat kind of stuff. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But why do all these other third-party things like Twitter, VR chat, and Decentraland when you can just be on the Vvverse? Someday we will have this little fireside chat here in the Vvverse, and then I'm going to be making a lot of money off you guys. I'm just kidding. I'm going to charge access to me. No. That's not what I'm going to do. We're going to have a lot of fun on this kind of spatial ripoff now. I'm just kidding. More jokes, because I'm getting a little tired. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and people FUD it down. And I feel like the biggest FUDders are the people who didn't actually see it. Once you see it, you'll be like, it's cool. It's not some spatial knockoff. So anyways, moving on here. Flicker Bits, how's it going, my friend? Good, great to see you on stream. What's the funniest thing you witnessed at DCon? The funniest thing I witnessed was, there wasn't necessarily a lot of funny things necessarily. Maybe Randy falling down at karaoke. I mean, I actually didn't think that was too funny, but it was a fun time. I want to show you the karaoke a little bit. Two things. Okay, this was Legal Dave. And the context of this was at the karaoke thing. He goes up to sing Mr. Brightside. And like it was so bullish, bro. It was so awesome. He was like a rock star. And he's kind of this like really professional, kind of like, like seems like a like quiet gentleman, maybe a little timid even. But then he gets on there and starts like singing Mr. Brightside, and everyone's getting all pumped up. It was like the most bullish thing I've seen at this party. And I only have a 16-second clip, so I will try to attempt to show you this. I'll try to get really close to the camera with the mic there. Okay, maybe I'll just do this view. I'll play it really loud here. That was baller, man. I don't know if you saw kind of a quick clip there, but Reese is there, jamming at the front. I didn't even know that because I was so in the zone. But like Dan Crothers is right there, and then Reese is to his right, and then Legal Dave is there, and then Alex is over there, like jamming out. And I was like so in the zone where I didn't even see these guys, and it was a really really fun time. They need to have them out there and like just jamming on the stage before they have a next announcement. I hope they do that like next year. But it was really 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 funny, man. It was really really cool. And and then we have I don't know if you guys know Akil on Twitter. Let me he was doing Hamilton, one of my favorite songs on Hamilton. Really cool. He's got a good voice there too. I won't play the whole thing, but I'll just play this little clip here. Yeah, that was cool. That was a really fun time too. Oh, another one. Oh, this is embarrassing. I haven't seen a full video of me singing R. Kelly. I Believe I Can Fly, and I can't sing for crap. And my voice was so hoarse because when you're talking to people and it's loud, you're like yelling at each other just to talk. But I got someone to film it for me. I haven't heard my own video yet, but let's try to play that a little bit. It might be so embarrassing. It's like when you watch something embarrassing and cringy, you like cringe yourself even though you're not there. I'm sure it's going to be that kind of thing. Oh God. All 108 of you watched that just now. That's so awful. Anyways, that was a really good time. I think I was really maybe a little bit tipsy there. But haha, someone I blocked tried to like chat something. I think that's funny. Anyways, okay. Oh, hit the like button, everyone. We'll wrap this up here pretty soon, but stack up the whales, lads, DCA if you haven't. I use BITFOREX. I am kind of a little bit partial to maybe the idea of using Uniswap because it might be a little easier, or maybe even through MetaMask. George says, great to see you, Decon. Great to see you, my friend. How do you feel about Lamborghini and Banksy? Banksy, I'm not a big art fan. Probably still try to go for it on the drop, but I really like Lamborghini. And actually, I believe that Lambo will be potentially a good investment, not just because it's Lambo, but imagine renting it in the Vvverse. Like imagine like you're at the Vvverse, imagine a bullish Vvverse there, and you're like, what would I rent? Am I going to rent a flamethrower because someone saw that in the Vvverse? Maybe. I'll probably just buy it. It'll probably be cheap. Or am I going to rent a flying car like the DeLorean? I'll probably rent. Well, I would probably buy it at these prices, but imagine it being so expensive, in the future. But I would consider renting a Lambo. I would consider renting a Aston Martin. That sounds like passive income to me. Like that's what I would do as a consumer, rent things like that, because maybe a Lambo, hopefully they do a limited edition. So it's like higher value for us. But what else would you rent? You know, maybe a plane, maybe a skateboard I would rent for my avatar. But would I rent a Kripken, or a statue? Maybe not because it's more decorative. Why, are you going to rent maybe I'd rent some pictures as a museum kind of thing. And charge people. I don't know. But I think cars are a natural good investment. Even just look at what's cool in Fortnite. Skins are cool, accessories are cool. Here's the thing. Here's the bullish case. All these things are coming. That the Vvverse likely is going to be something pretty cool, and that OMI tokens are going to be used for it, just like Sandbox is. Sandbox, those Sand tokens went up huge in value, right? And you can buy it really cheap now because someday in the future it's going to be worth a lot of money. Why wouldn't you buy now if you have that thesis? Something to think about. D-Train, great meeting you at DCon. I remember you. Great to meet you. Ecomi Skywalker, hello, my friend. Super sticker, thank you very much. Tito 420, the Vvverse is similar to my Penthouse NFT. Okay, good. Superman, thank you for the super chat there. There are rumors of a USDT collapse is imminent. Actually, I do have that. Maybe I need to switch it out there, but good to know. But we hear that a lot. Maybe we'll check out the news later. I'll check that out. But thank you for letting me know. How much owe me to get back into your famous intro? If I get 50 million owe me, I might start being more goofy with my intros. The thing is, it takes a little bit of time. You don't want cringy humor. And sometimes I just want to put out a video. This is different from other times. Coming from people I trust, I put a lot of USDT into USDC. I'm saying to be careful next couple weeks. How did they have Banksy? I thought this identity is still unknown. Weird. I don't get it. Well, so how do you copyright graffiti that's on public property? Or, how do you copyright that? Well, I think this third party uses other people's interpretation of Banksy art, which really can't be copyrighted. I mean, how can you copyright it to an unknown person? Like think about that for an example. Let's get our Twitter lawyers up on stage here, because every time you talk about something legal as it applies to crypto, we have 10 Twitter lawyers talking about it. So how can you copyright something that's in the public domain? It's on some public property and copyrighted to some unknown individual. I'm not a Twitter lawyer, but seems like it's hard to do that. So you can't copyright that most likely, unless it's maybe something else, maybe a drawing or something. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. But you'd have people who have an interpretation or who draw that, and then you license that out to other people. That seems like what's going on here. And I think that one of those companies kind of lost a legal case in Europe for this kind of the same reason. So I think that's how they're doing it, but we'll wait and see. Veve is very legal, right? They got Legal Dave singing Mr. Brightside. I'm sure if it didn't make sense legally, they wouldn't do it. So this is just yet another piece of FUD that people can't FUD the Vvverse. They can't FUD a lot of the other things like Lambo, but they can FUD this little thing. So that's the FUD flavor of the week there. Does the team swearing on stage take you back at all? Nope. Yeah, Isaiah Harris says David confirms no Pokemon yet, not checked off list. Any thoughts? Many people assume we already have it. No, I think it's really clear that they don't have it. I think Pokemon is another topic we can maybe talk about. Oh, crypto crayons. Holy crap, crypto crayons. Thank you for the $2 super chat. It was a pleasure meeting you in person, actually multiple times. Uh, Man, that's awesome. Smells Fun was raving about it when we met you at that party on Friday. Man, awesome. Awesome. It was a great time overall, wasn't it? Isaiah says, David confirms no Pokemon yet. They clearly don't have Pokemon, but to me, it's clearly in the works. How embarrassing, I not even watch this video, but let's just talk about that. How embarrassing is it as a company to tease out one of the biggest brands and licenses in the world, keeping it an inside joke for all these years, if there's no chance of getting it? Clearly, there's talks because there's all the connections. And something like Disney took years. So something like Pokemon will likely take years as well. I think it will be 2 to 3 years before we get Pokemon, but I think it's clearly in tentative talks. When you say not checked off the list yet, that means they don't have a contract signed. But what do you talk about? How do you say it if they're in discussion? They haven't committed anything yet. They want to talk about, they want to get the best terms. They want something. Vv wants something. They're negotiating it. I think that's what it is. Maybe it's not checked off the list like he says per se, according to you, but clearly it's in talks. Otherwise, why would you be teasing it so much? You would just say no, right? Some of the licenses, they're like, we don't have that, right? Dan Carruthers, I remember, said McDonald's, or was it? Yeah, McDonald's. That they talked about McDonald's, and he says he doesn't have it. So if they don't have it, they're going to say no. If it's kind of tentative, they might tease it, and that's what I think they're at, man. Jack Mack, thank you for the super sticker. VV Darklink, hello, my friend. I met your favorite person, Wendy, in person. What do you think about that? Here's a bit of alpha for you that I feel like I can safely share for the 91 people that are still here, and we'll close this out really soon. My voice is getting a little bit tired. I very briefly interacted with David and the team. I didn't get a picture with them even. I get a little shy. I get starstruck. I'm like, oh gosh, it's Dan and David. But I did meet Reese, talked to him a little bit briefly. I did meet Pudding Cheeks, talked to him a little bit briefly. I talked to a lot of other people, and I heard a lot of third-hand information, not from them, but I heard a lot of third-hand information from other people that I don't want to talk about. But and the alpha here is, and it really put me in perspective. It's not really even alpha. It's not even secret. It's like with all the security stuff, they have to be very careful about what they talk about. They can't talk about price. They can't have the perception of trying to manipulate the price. They can't talk about how bullish they are on OMI because, it could be the appearance of raising money through a security type offering. They can't do that. But I heard they're very bullish on OMI, but they can't publicly say this. And that's why, that kind of makes sense when you think about it, when you think about the thing they're in with OMI being a security, with their links to using it as a security in the past, raising money. You have to tread carefully. So that's why they don't talk about price. That's why they don't talk about, OMI going to the moon. Founders and sketchy founders and rug pullers talk about OMI, or talk about their own tokens going to the moon, but they don't. But when you look at the OUP and you look at that, the Vvverse will use OMI. Actions speak louder than words. And when I saw that OUP, it becomes very clear to me that they care very deeply for OMI. They care about the community members who are in OMI. So I don't worry about it too much. Oh. Crypto Crayons, pleasure meeting. Great vibes, man. Thank you, my friend. Thank you very much. The pleasure's all mine, really. You're right. Can never mention token alongside profits, dividends, appreciation. Yeah, you can't just like fudge your own, like not fudge your own bags, but try to moon your own bags. It's really weird to do that. Anyways, my friends, that's all I have. I plan on doing a lot more videos in the future, but I wanted to get everything I have off my chest in the most efficient manner possible without getting sidetracked. I had a great time. I'm bullish. I want to buy more OMI. I hope you guys do well. Be careful in this bear market. We're going to make more videos though. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for hanging out with me so much. And thank you for all the super chats. Peace.